Przewalski Horse is at the center of many debates, with two questions that have often been on the agenda. Is he the ancestor of the domestic horse? Is he the last wild horse in the world? The answer to the first question was confirmed thanks to a study carried out in 2018, where the results clearly showed that the horse was domesticated 5,500 years ago by the Botai culture, in Kazakhstan, before returning to the wild. We therefore know that the Przewalski horse is not the ancestor of the domestic horse. The answer to the second question divides. For some, he is not the last wild horse in the world, as he was reintroduced into the wild in the 1990s, after disappearing in the wild before 1970. Conversely, many scientists and international nature conservation bodies believe that the Przewalski horse nevertheless remains a wild animal, because the place it occupies in the ecosystem is probably identical to that of its distant ancestors had before their domestication. In any case, even if it is not related to Paleolithic horses, the Przewalski horse closely resembles those represented in the caves of the Cantabrian Mountains, Périgord, and the Pyrenees. Przewalski horse was discovered in 1879 by Colonel Nikolai Mikhailovich Przewalski, a Russian explorer of Polish origin. At that time, the species was considered extinct, having been exterminated for its meat by Mongolian hunters. Colonel Nikolai Mikhailovich Przewalski saw Przewalski horse in Zungaria, in the mountains bordering the Gobi Desert. Subsequently, to meet the demand from zoos who wanted to exhibit the Przewalski horse, hunters massacred entire groups to manage to capture a few foals, only half of which survived the journey. The result will not be long in coming, since the Przewalski horse will become rarer, and will no longer be seen in Mongolia after 1969. This is how the species was considered extinct in the wild, and will only exist in captivity in zoos. Around 1977, there were 300 horses left around the world, all bred in captivity. After the discovery of Laura Danilo, a paleontologist, who established that 92% of horses suffer from a facial anomaly due to the strong inbreeding of the herds, breeding exchange programs are put in place and the horses will be raised in small groups isolated from each other. Subsequently, the priority will become the return of the species to the wild, and reintroduction projects will emerge from the 1990s. The Foundation for the Preservation and Protection of the Przewalski horse, created in the Netherlands in 1977, was at the origin of the first horses released in Mongolia in 1992, in the Kustane Nuru National Park. Until 2004, there will be 84 released into this area, with a long period of acclimatization in large enclosures, before finally returning to the wild in complete freedom. In 2008, this population included 192 horses divided into 24 herds. The International Taki Group will ensure the second introduction at the Takental site, and the third will be at Comental, from horses bred in France by the Tak C'est en tout 330 chevaux qui vivent en liberté en Mongolie fin 2007, dont 200 dans le Parc National de Kustane Nuru, 110 dans le Gobi, et plus de 20 à Comental situé dans l'ouest du pays. Other expeditions will emerge, and at the beginning of the 21st century, this species, or subspecies, numbers around 1,800 horses, all of which are descendants of those bred in captivity, which themselves were descended from the 13 breeders captured around 1900. All these efforts to correct the mistakes of the past were not always successful, because some horses had difficulty adapting to the climate, finding food and water, or defending themselves from predators. Finally, 50 years after its disappearance in the wild, the new generation of Przewalski horse adapted to its environment, and took back the place that was once its own.